Boom is a new way to bring more energy and engagement into your video calls and presentations. It transforms your dull webcam into a vibrant canvas to express yourself and captivate your audience when you present. Whether you use Zoom, Google Meet, Discord, Microsoft Teams, or any other video tool, Boom works with everything. It's as simple as selecting Boom as your camera.
Boom.
And in this video, I'll walk you through everything you need to know to get started using Boom so you can bring the thunder to your next video call. We'll cover installing Boom and setting up permissions, customizing your virtual camera in Boom Studio, setting up Boom in your video conferencing tool, using the Boom remote during calls, and screen sharing with Boom. To get started, download and install Boom on your device if you haven't already. Then open up Finder and double-click on the Boom.app file. The first time you open it, you'll be presented with a pop-up telling you that Boom is an app downloaded from the internet. Go ahead and click Open, then you'll be asked to sign into Boom with your Google account. Next, you're going to accept permissions. Once you've installed the app, you'll get a few pop-ups to accept these permissions. Follow the prompts to open up your system settings, then click on Allow, then enter your system password when prompted. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's get to the fun stuff. Boom consists of three main tools: Boom Studio, Boom Remote, and Boom Mirror. The Studio is where you customize all of your visuals and layouts. The Remote is what you'll mainly be using during your calls to control screen sharing and using reactions. And the Mirror is a tool up in your menu bar at the top of your screen where you can see exactly how you look to everyone else. You can also use the Mirror to quickly hide or show the Boom Remote, open Boom Studio, and quit Boom entirely.
Boom, it's gone.
Now, you may not be able to see Boom's icon to access the Mirror, and that's probably because Boom is hidden somewhere behind the notch if you use any of the new MacBooks and you have a lot of items up in your menu bar. So to fix this, just close out some of the items in your menu bar so you can see the Boom icon, and don't worry, you can reopen them after. Then hit Command and click on the Boom icon, then drag it all the way to the right. Now it'll always be visible. Okay, now let's move on to customizing your visuals in Boom Studio. Think of Boom Studio as your virtual green room. This is where you can customize your look to your heart's content. And there are four main sections of the Boom Studio. Let's start with the Video tab. This is where you can select the camera that you want to use or turn off your camera to customize your cam off poster. More on that later. But for now, I'm using an external Sony mirrorless camera with a Camlink 4K, so I'll select that as my camera input. Of course, you can also select your built-in FaceTime camera or even connect your iPhone wirelessly and use it as a high-quality camera if you're on Mac OS Ventura or later. Now that I have my camera enabled, we can get creative with the settings. First, you'll see that you can select your background blur settings. One thing to note is that if you have portrait mode enabled on your Mac, you're going to want to turn this off by going up to that camera icon on your Mac toolbar. You want to only control background blur using Boom. This is going to be the case with Zoom or Google Meet background blur settings, but don't worry, we'll get to that later. Back in Boom Studio, you can also customize your appearance. This auto adjust toggle makes your camera look perfect in an instant.
One click, boom.
If you want to get creative, you can also select one of the presets if you want to look like a classic Hollywood film, or if you want to get technical and really dial in your look, you can click on Advanced and adjust every aspect of your video. You can zoom and pan to get your framing perfect. And if you want, you can even zoom all the way in to show everyone your individual nose hairs. Next, you can choose to mirror your video or not. Now, I would suggest keeping this off because this is what other people will see when you're on a call with them. Okay, next you can turn on or off equal padding. Then you can select how much padding you want to show off your background image. And you can round out the corners of your video for a more polished look. You can also add a border around your video and choose a color for your border. Next, let's look at the Themes tab to get creative. There are tons of built-in options that you can choose from as a starting point, and you can completely customize the look to be on brand or look like a time traveler from the 90s. Each theme is made up of 7 elements. You can choose to toggle any of these elements on or off using the editing toolbar along the top. You can use the toolbar to upload a logo or any other image, apply backgrounds to the text elements on your canvas, and change your wallpaper to one of the preloaded options, a solid color, or even upload a custom image. You can also add a custom sticker to your canvas. You can search for pretty much anything and add it to your video. You can then click and drag on any element on the canvas to change the placement of them. It's kind of like Canva or Figma, but for video. This is also where you can edit your cam off poster for those times you don't want to be on camera. So first, turn your camera off. Then you can use the editing toolbar to make your changes. I like to add a personal photo, add some helpful context, and add some emojis or GIFs to show that I'm still engaged, even when my camera's off. Let's move on to the Present tab. This is where you'll find all of the presentation layouts for screen sharing. We'll go deeper into this later, but for now, let's look at the fourth tab. The React tab is where you'll find all of the GIFs, emojis, and visual effects available in Boom to make your calls even more memorable.
Boom.
You can favorite specific GIFs and emojis that you like to use frequently by clicking on the star so you can quickly access them during a call.
Boom. There it is.
Okay, so that's Boom Studio. Let's try this out on a Zoom call with the team. But before I join the call, I'm just going to open up the Boom mirror one last time to make sure I look good. What you see here in the Boom mirror is exactly how others will see it. Okay, now let's open up Zoom and set up a few things before joining the call. First, make sure that Boom is selected as your camera input. You can uncheck Mirror My Video so your text doesn't look backwards to you, but don't worry, even if it is mirrored for you, Boom will never show this mirrored view to your audience. This is just a view for you so it looks natural, like looking in a mirror. Now, unfortunately, Google Meet doesn't have an option to turn off mirroring, so you'll just need to trust that Boom is showing your audience the right thing by double checking the Boom mirror one more time. Okay, so back at Zoom, we're gonna change a few more settings. Go to the Background and Effects tab first. If you have any background blur or effects turned on, you're gonna wanna turn them off now and just let Boom take over the creative department. You can always adjust those blur settings back in Boom Studio. Next, you're gonna wanna make sure that your viewers don't see the Boom remote when you share your screen. So go to the Share Screen tab and select Share Individual Window. Then click on Advanced and make sure that there's a checkmark box next to the Share Selected App window only. Okay, all of our Zoom settings are dialed in. Let's join the call. While you're on the call, if you want to make any last-minute changes to the way that your video looks, you can quickly open up Boom Studio to make those adjustments on the fly. But for the most part, you can now switch over to just using the Boom remote during your calls. That way, Boom gets out of your way while you focus on the important things, like workplace gossip. The Boom remote is a faster and easier way to access all of Boom's features while you're on a call. So you can show or hide the remote using Boom Mirror up in your menu bar. And there are three main parts of the Boom remote: screen sharing, reactions, and a button to turn your camera on or off. Let's talk about screen sharing with Boom. Sharing your screen with the Boom remote will quickly allow you to launch a more engaging screen share. Think of it like Screen Share 2.0. It's designed so you can leave all of your screen sharing anxieties behind thanks to a new approach to screen sharing. First, it's super easy to select what you want to share. You can see an app filter along the top so you know exactly what you're about to share. And you can always check the Boom mirror to see exactly what others are seeing at any moment. Also, Boom will block out all notifications from your screen share so you won't show any embarrassing text messages from your mom while giving an important presentation. You can also add a frame around the window that you're sharing so you never have to think twice about what you're sharing again. If you don't see this, go into the Video Overlay tab in the Boom remote and then select the Screen Frame setting. And while you're here, you can turn on Video Overlay and select the position of your video window. I like to keep it on the top right corner so people can maintain eye contact with me, since most webcams are usually on the top of their screen. Now, unlike a traditional screen share where your whole screen takes over and you get pushed off to the side, Boom will place you on top of your screen along with your content. That way you won't lose connection with your audience while you present. So now, while you're sharing your screen, you'll see a Boom window with the background theme around the app window that you're sharing, and your video window will be behind that app so it doesn't cut off your view. Now, if you need to resize or move this app window around, make sure to click and drag on the app window, not the outer Boom window. If you do accidentally move the outer Boom window, you'll see a duplicated view that your audience sees. To get things back to normal, just click and drag the app window that you're sharing and everything should sync back up accordingly. While you're sharing with Boom, you can also quickly switch to a different window without ending your current screen share. This is something that Zoom probably should have figured out by now. But here we are. Also, while you're presenting, you'll notice a purple circle around your cursor to make it easy for everyone to follow what you're doing. If you want to make it even more obvious, you can use the magnifier shortcut by holding Option to zoom right into an important detail on whatever you're sharing. You can also change your magnifier settings in the Boom remote. You can also quickly end your screen sharing by clicking the X on the Boom remote. By the way, there are two very handy shortcuts for quickly starting and ending a screen share with Boom. To start a screen share, just go to the app window that you want to share and hit the shortcut Command-Option-S. When you're ready to end the screen share, just hit Command-Option-E and you'll instantly stop sharing your screen.
Boom, you're off.
Okay, let's talk about the other two buttons in the Boom remote. That smiley face button on the remote is probably the most fun thing ever, and that's the Reactions tab. This is where you can really let your personality shine. This will give you quick access to an entire inventory of GIFs and emojis, and even some custom visual effects. You can favorite all of your favorite and most used reactions by clicking on the star, so that way you can quickly react while you're on a call. Now that bottom button on the remote is where you can toggle your camera on or off to show your cam off poster. You can use the cam off poster to tell others on the call when you're stepping away, or just use it for those times when you don't feel like being on camera. This is usually where I'll swap out my logo for a personal picture so I can show my face and still be present on the call without actually showing my face. Well, I mean, it's my face, but not like my face. By the way, if you'd rather not see the Boom remote during your calls, you can always hide it using the Boom mirror.
And boom.
That's Boom. For more information on all of the features covered in this video, you can check out the Boom Help Center. I hope Boom will help transform your boring calls into something way more enjoyable.
Boom, we're done.